At the end of chapter 8, in the strange room, Lim notices something weird happening on the island of Wofford. So she ends up teleporting out and leaving us in the strange room or the strange place, whatever it's called. And we have to break the main cube in that room in order to leave. So when we land on Wofford, we're in the middle of a buster call. Lim is nowhere to be found, Audio is nowhere to be found, so we head back to the home of Audio. When we get there, Lim is crying, she says she can't find Audio, and he must be at the Sky Temple. So we head to the Sky Temple, and this is the most aesthetically pleasing dungeon. Maybe it's my personal taste, most likely. It's my personal taste, but I really like just the cube design, the elegance, the simplicity of it. It was nice to look at. When we get here, there's no real gimmick to it. The only mechanic is you step on the button, the floor pops up. It's not timed or anything like that. So the first floor, you're literally just climbing up there. There's the rings you can pull yourself up to. The enemy design, everything's just cubes, but the cubes are pretty strong. I fought like the first enemy, and it gave me like 3-4 levels at a time, which is kind of crazy. But once you sweep through the first floor, the second floor, you get into this beautiful forest inside of the temple, and the aesthetics here is chef's kiss, bro. And then in order to pass this second floor to get to the third floor, you have to do like this little puzzle. It's not so much a puzzle, it's just more walking. There's a song you have to play. So you talk to Nico, she tells you we have to decipher this code to get the key to pass through there, and then she can't decipher it, but she's seen these symbols before, so we go back to Alabasta in the museum. Once we go there, we find the code or whatever, we come back, and I think they did this whole quest thing just to give Brooke some usefulness, because you don't really use Brooke the same way you use Frankie or anybody else. There's no secret items or anything to pick up with Brooke. There's nothing you can build with Brooke or anything. You can't like make the water ice to walk across and make a pathway or anything like that either. So once you play the song, then you get to the third part. The third floor is literally just a boss gauntlet, and I love this part. Number one, you walk into the room, it's just a pillar of light in the middle, and then the two or three glowing orbs, and then you just start boxing immediately. First people you fight, Kaku, Lucci. I was sweating for a little bit. I didn't know how hard these were gonna be, but once again, it was just pretty simple. I think the ice block rune gave me the most trouble. And then next we have Crocodile and Mingo, and that was just a fun group up. I know they're both warlords, but you don't really get to see them together too often, so I really like that. And then last but not least, certainly not least, we fight the three admirals. So we have Kizaru, Akainu, and Nakiji, and whew, that was fun. That was definitely fun. After that, we go up to the tower. We get a whole bunch of cutscene, a whole bunch of dialogue. The story was actually it was pretty nice at this part. I was excited to just sit back, relax, and just watch the story play out. Audio is. He's a bastard. Shout out Yusuke. He's a bastard. He shot Lim, and I felt something. This whole game, I didn't feel anything, but he shot Lim. That was some cold shit. I'm not gonna lie. Oof. All right, so she dies. She turns into a cube, and then that opens up a whole bunch of questions right there. Like, what's really going on? There's no time to talk. Audio is here with the hands, bro. So we fight him on top of the Sky Tower. We beat him. And he's like, the only reason I lost is because we're on top of the Sky Tower. Let's go down to the beach with some nice scenery. So he decides to leave there. He goes down to the beach. We chase him. We find him on the beach. We box him again. We beat him. Then at this point, the divine breath gets out of control, drops like a canister or something, and then just goes into a rage. All the other fights were, I don't want to say they're hard. The only thing that like kind of slowed down the pacing of the fight was there were summoning minions that were just attacking in the background. They're infinite minions. As long as the divine breath is alive, it keeps summoning them. So I had a decision to either fight them or damage the divine breath or adio for the first fight. And TP turned into a problem. Not having enough ability power or stamina, whatever, to use your abilities turned into a problem. And then that was even more of a problem for the second part of the fight, where it goes out of control. So it has a shield, and it takes, I want to say maybe like 10,000 damage. I think it's like a 10,000 damage shield or something like that. Maybe a little less, maybe like 8,000 damage. And then once you break that, then you can actually deal damage to the divine breath. Stamina was definitely a problem for using abilities. After about like probably 5 minutes of the fight, I got into a good routine of having certain characters break the shield because there's no like armor or guts, or at least it seemed like there were no armor or guts that applied to the shield. So once the shield went down, then I used Luffy, my strongest character, and I think he had the attribute bonus against it as well. We just damaged it down, got through it. After that, it's just story. It gives you the backstory of Adio. I don't feel bad for this motherfucker, like, at all. Adio ends up leaving. He gets on the divine breath and flies away out over the sea. We start back on the island. We find out that the canister the divine breath drop was the real Lim, who has red eyes, and she resurrects shadow clone of her. I don't ask questions, I just play the game. And then everything is happily ever after. The Marines were a mess. They were, whew, the Marines were hurting after this. At the end of the story, you just, well, if you decide to leave the island, just go find your crew, gather them together, and leave. Then credits. And then there's a little after credits scene. I'll leave it on here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Overall, One Piece Odyssey was pretty fun. I just don't like turn-based strategy that much. Like, even going back and playing things like Pokemon is not as entertaining. If they had a battle system or like Mega Man Battle Network or something, where it's like an enclosed space and then you fight in that, and then it takes you back to the overworld or the actual like open world, that would have probably been a lot more entertaining. For someone who doesn't like turn-based that much, I had a good time. It was fun. It was a nice story. It was okay. Nothing too crazy. The little threads that lead into more information about the Sky Island was very interesting because that's not a lot we get to see in the actual story of One Piece. So I definitely enjoyed that. That's probably why I listened or pay attention to the story a little bit more, is because of Sky Islands. But I think that's really it. The DLC is out right now. I don't know if I want to play it right now. I might play something else and come back to it. No one's gonna care by the time I come back to it, but we'll see. Anyways, I'll leave you guys with the rest of it. Enjoy, have fun, have a great weekend.
瓶に詰められたやつがいたっけ？え、いやあれは。
8じゃねえか。
出航準備ができたみたいよ。
早いな、さすがフランキーだ。ここの片付けも終わってからいつ。
よし、行こ
う。はいよ、キャプテン。リムちゃんたち、島の食材で軽く料理を作っておいた。
俺の分はねえのか、サンジ。
ルフィ、もう出航なのか？
ああ、準備ができた。
リム、俺たちは行っちまうが大丈夫か？
ありがとう。大丈夫よ、ウソップ。
そっか、もう一人のリムもいるしな。それにあいつも。
おう、ルフィか。
変なところにいるわね。
出航までにこの先の移行でもう少し鍛えておきたかったが仕方ねえな。
この先はないかい。移行はないわよ。
あの移行の大爆風、今度は切れるように鍛えねえとな。
あ、ごまかした。
気のせい。
出航するぞ。
ルフィ、それにリムも。そう、もう出航なのね。
ナミ、あのね、私ね、この島にたくさん家を作ることにしたの。それでいつかみんなと冒険した街のような 大きな町を作るの。
リム、そうね。それじゃあ
何を見てんだ？
この絵を見てたの。少し埃を落としたら全貌が見えたわ。
それは私たちの生まれた空島、このワフルドが空にあった時の絵ね。
そう。
アディオのおじいさんのもっと昔のおじいさんが暮らしていた場所。黙っててごめんなさい。
この冒険でまた一つ埋もれた歴史を知ることができた。それだけで私は満足よ。
そういやじゃあなリムとリム。